Hello. I feel like I have not recorded in ages. I'm actually not sure how long it's really been. Maybe a week or two. A phrase that I had written down that kind of kept coming through, personal Stargate key codes. So I just looked in the video notes where I keep snippets of information that I receive, and I didn't realize how long the list was getting in just like a short amount of time. But of everything, what stood out to sort of dive into first was that phrase. So that is what I'm doing. I'm still in Costa Rica. Today is actually my last day here, and I wasn't sure. I leave tomorrow morning. I wasn't sure if I wanted to just sort of take the day and not really do anything or start anything new. But I took off the pressure, and then out of nowhere, I just decided to push record. So here we are. Yeah, I've actually been here in Costa Rica for almost 2 months. Anyway, the reason I brought that up is you may hear some jungle noises in the background. And I actually did record something the other night. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm calling it the bufonic experience. I haven't decided, like I said, if I'm going to release it on YouTube or Patreon, or I'm not sure yet, but it is coming through right now. And just like a little, I keep feeling like I want to say the word snippet for some reason. The word snippet. Like a snippet of the energetics sort of pouring through why the bufonic experience has come up. Speaking of personal Stargate key codes, so for me, something that happens, and it may happen for you too, and or there might be something more unique to you that may be coming forth to either share, express, whether you've done it a million times, one time, or 0 times, it just feels like there's something coming through about this. And the phrase dimethyltryptamine or DMT vibrational experience is sort of the preface of this, and this is something that I've experienced over time with different, if you want to call it, plant spirits. Bufo comes from allegedly not allegedly, I don't know why I said that, the toad. I did go into some of the more details in the actual recording, so I'm not going to dive too much into that right now, but the experience of receiving this very visceral, vibrational DMT experience through, there was a toad in my room here in Costa Rica, and again, I go into more detail in the recording, but I started to feel like I was having an experience like I had taken something, but I didn't take anything. And I had no idea that this toad is the toad that people utilize for bufo. And I've never done that before, at least in this lifetime. Anyway, so I started hearing different messages and feeling different guidance points to like show up and So I researched, and the toad was in my room the whole time that I was experiencing this, and it did turn out that this toad was the specific toad, etc., etc. Anyway, that people utilize for bufo. So yeah, I just sort of, when I've had experiences like this in the past with other, maybe like plant medicine and or DMT experiences without actually ingesting anything, I've never recorded it in real time. This is my first time like having that experience and pushing record and like walking and talking through the experience as it was happening. Yeah, so if anyone's interested in something like that, let me know. As I said before, I'm still deciding how to release that or if I'm going to. But yeah, so there could be, again, these experiences and or something that you feel connected to. And I'm not saying like I'm the only person who experiences that type of phenomenon. What I'm saying is it feels like there's a certain type of phenomenon that is coming through, and whether or not anyone else experiences these things, there's something about the way that you express through your personal Stargate key codes that feels like there's like a wave going out right now whenever you find this, to step into something that's showing up for you, really. I'm not getting any other examples at the moment, but we'll see if that unfolds through the recording. And I almost pushed like video, not just voice for this transmission, because the setting I'm in is just so beautiful, and I did want to share it. I do want to share it, but yeah, I'm still figuring out some logistics, so thank you for your patience as I continue to work through video. Okay, I'm just going to pause for a moment and see where else we're being taken. I just looked at the time, and it's 3:33 on the time where I am right now. So you could be receiving... Whoa. As soon as I said that, I felt like the sex organs just like light up. So I'm also hearing intel, the word intel, cosmic intelligence, cosmic consciousness. So you could be stepping into this and or deepening your connection. And if you're someone who's already very acclimated, there could be an expansion coming for how you embody, share, show up, etc. Star glyphs. I'm seeing star glyphs. The word glyph in general, petroglyph, hieroglyph. There's something about glyphs. There may be like, for some of you, symbols that are coming through to you that maybe are newer. I just heard a horn in the background. There could be some sort of, I'm hearing glyph system. So yeah, they're essentially, okay, I paused for a moment. I'm not sure if you can tell that, so the audio may not flow exactly to what I was saying before, but the idea of the word glyph coming through, and there's something about like, in that expression, speaking in tongues, I heard instead speaking in glyphs. So if it's not like a literal symbol or, for some of you it may be, but for some of you it could just be like the way you speak, like a poetic, like you speak in a poetic glyph is kind of what's coming through. And if you don't feel that way about yourself, for some of you it may be movement, like the way that you move. There's something just really cryptic, like people may feel like you're a bit cryptic, even if you don't intentionally show up that way. A lot of like scorpionic energy. I'm not sure why this is turning into like what people may view you as, but that's just what's coming through all of a sudden. And I'm going to now bring it back to this idea of personal Stargate key codes. And for those of you who feel very tuned into working with like grids, you may feel like a pull or a call. They're showing me like the Kundalini on the planet. You may be like sort of riding a river current, if you will. There might be like a shakeup in where you're feeling called to or headed. And if it's not like literal physical travel or movement, it could be just even in your daily routine. Like maybe your walk, maybe you're feeling guided if you take a daily walk to walk somewhere different, or you're switching jobs. Maybe you're putting yourself in positions to like network or try new things, or I'm seeing like a cover for someone. So like being on a cover of something. I just heard minimal blemish makeup. Okay, maybe someone here is like experimenting with makeup. I heard someone say, what if I'm a man? If you're a man, that's okay. Men can wear makeup too. Whatever, however you identify. Gender is not relevant. It doesn't seem to be. And not to dismiss that, just like, anyone. Yeah. And that won't be for everyone, of course. But if it's not makeup, maybe it's, artistic expression in some way. There's just something about that. There's a Kesha song that's repeating in my head. I don't know how it's relevant, but I haven't heard the song in ages, and I don't know why it's popping in. Don't stop. Let me see the lyrics. Okay, this is really funny because she talks about in the lyrics, I'm talking pedicure on her toes, trying on all her clothes. Yeah, I was, I've been in the jungle for the last 2 months, and I embrace my natural self, but I am very excited to like have someone do my nails again, like little things like that. That sounded bad. Not like having someone, you know what I mean? Like I've been trying to upkeep my own nails, but with limited resources. Like I'm excited to have, some of those like more civilized versions of upkeep again. And I was just saying that to a friend recently, like in the last hour. And that's not to say I didn't fully embrace my jungle experience. I did, but so there's something about that coming up. Like maybe, that song TikTok. Oh, it's called TikTok. I didn't even realize that. So TikTok's been coming through the last few transmissions, like talking about TikTok. So maybe someone here is like thinking about starting a TikTok or blowing up on TikTok. There's something about that because that's like the least app that I use, but I do have one. So there's something about that. The song was released in 2010. Oh my God. Yeah, okay, 2010. We're in 2025, 15 years. So maybe there's something about like 15 years ago that's coming up in your consciousness, but there's also like the song's like a lighthearted, fun energy, like just kind of letting loose and embracing certain things. So there could be a period of time coming up for you, especially if you've been like not really doing that much, embracing lightness and fun. Now for some of you, it may be the opposite. Maybe you've been like doing that a lot, and maybe there's like a time coming of a little bit more of, something like I've just did for the last 2 months, like being in the jungle and being more connected to nature and simplicity. So take it how it fits for you, or maybe somewhere in the middle. I just noticed sunflowers. Some of you could be seeing sunflowers or really love sunflowers or be connected to someone who loves sunflowers. I'm seeing sunflowers, but then I'm seeing them in like different colors, like yellow, blue. I don't know if you can hear in the background, but I feel like it's about to rain, Graham. It is the rainy season here. Yeah, purification energy is coming through. Another song is coming through. And I just have 14:44 on the timer. I can't find the song, but I can hear it in my head. It's like, it's a part of life. Doesn't matter if it's black or white. But it's not the Michael Jackson song. I don't know. If anyone remembers that song, it's definitely not from a recent time. But that's coming through. And then 1444 is believed to symbolize stability, practicality, and hard work, encouraging individuals to stay focused on their goals. And this number sequence is also associated with spiritual growth, intuition, and inner wisdom, prompting individuals to trust their instincts and listen to their inner voice. So it's funny that Kesha was coming through with that, like, you know, letting loose song, and then this is coming through about practicality and stability, hard work. So a lot of the theme of middle path has been coming through, and, you know, too much, what's that? It's that expression, too much of one thing is never a good thing. I just made that up. You know what I mean? There is a saying, but there's something about coming into this more balanced reharmonization and not maybe overindulging in one thing. So it's like too much of the Kesha TikTok fun or too much of being practical, or, you know. So yeah, there's this this balanced approach. As soon as I said that, I felt like I swallowed a bug, which is highly possible because being in the jungle, there is just always a bug somewhere. And I send love to the bugs all the time. I feel like I've been a little bit, you know, it's an interesting thing to, like, be a part of something. Like, I get to witness, you know, living amongst such wild nature, and it's beautiful, and I'm so grateful that I get to experience it. But there is a part of me that is like, okay, I experienced it, and now I'm ready for something different. So there could be cycles like this coming up for you as well. And it doesn't have to be your environment necessarily, but maybe you're feeling like pulled to like I'm seeing like a sampler platter. Of course, I'm getting taken to food. I think I'm getting hungry. You're like, maybe you right now don't want to just order one entree and be done. Like, you want like a sampler platter or tapas, because you get to try a little bit of different things. So that's sort of coming through as well. Okay, yeah, 1111 has been coming through a lot as well. So you may be seeing, 111, 1111. And this last full moon, I actually was outside, and since I've been here the last 2 months, I haven't been outside at night as much, but I happened to be outside this night, and the moon was full and beautiful, and I heard in my head, make a wish, and I was like, okay, but I was a little bit skeptical for some reason, and then I like walked a few steps and looked up, and in the clouds, I saw a wishbone like scrying in the clouds. So wishbone could be significant for someone, like a sign. Maybe someone's gonna, like, you know, like you take the bone and people like rip it apart, or something shaped like a wishbone if you don't want to use actual bones. But there's something about that, and I'm hearing in my head, a heartfelt wish will soon manifest, which is a card from the White Light Oracle deck, Alana Fairchild. So yeah, it feels like there's some sort of interesting. My computer light just started to dim when I was talking about that. So there may be something that feels a little bit like darkest before the dawn kind of thing, that may be coming in. I heard fairly soon, and I saw someone like taking their fingers, you know, like on their chin, like like that preponderance, like we're pondering. That's funny. I also heard Count Chocula. I'm not sure why that came in. Count Chocula. Oh man, I'm getting really silly. Speaking of key codes, right before, within the last week or so, also cloud scrying, I saw such a clear key at sunset, and there were like these beautiful pastel hues, and then I saw this key in the clouds, So you could be finding keys, losing keys, seeing keys, recovering keys. There could be something significant about keys. And I also watched the movie Hitch for the first time in a while. Maybe some of you did too. I think it just is newer on Netflix, or at least newer to me. And I was reminded of the part when Will Smith takes, I almost said Eva Longoria, but that's not her name. Eva Mendes? I hope I'm saying it right. To Ellis Island. About her grandfather, and he thinks he's doing a good thing, but she winds up crying. It's like a whole thing. Anyway, I don't know why, but there's been a lot about Ellis Island that I've been feeling, and it doesn't have to be literally Ellis Island, but they say like people who come here from different places back in the day would go through Ellis Island, and a lot of names were changed or mispronounced. And I actually just had my first interview, which I will talk about more in the future potentially, but my last name came up, and my last name is spelled Routh, Rothenstein, but it's pronounced Rothenstein, but it's spelled Rou, which is very misleading. And I remember asking about that when I was little, because I was like, why is our name my last name so confusing, like to my family? And I remember them just saying something about like Ellis Island, like probably when they came to Ellis Island, something. So anyway, there could be something about that, like maybe I just heard namesake, something about your name, maybe finding out more about your lineage, where you come from, why you come from, whether maybe you have someone in your family that you've never met. Like there's something about something being revealed about that. It could be through a dream, through a meditation, maybe someone in your family that you've never met might like reach out, who's doing like a family tree. Like there's just something about the lineage and uncovering something. Also, I was walking the other day, and a toucan was like in a tree right above me, and I wanted to try and take a photo, and it started to hide. It didn't want to be seen, so I respected that. But I went and I looked up the toucan, because I know in Costa Rica it's common to see toucans, but like apparently this was like so close to me. It was like right above my head in a tree branch. And like I mentioned, I was having one of my first interviews recorded like online, and this is maybe like a few days before I had the interview today, so this was like with this week sometime. And when I looked it up, it said something about the toucan being a good omen, like if you're about to engage in public speaking, or some like being seen in some way, publicly speaking, etc., like to continue on with that. And I was really nervous about this, and a past version of me would have definitely self-sabotaged, and I talk about that in this interview. But anyway, so feel free to look up a toucan meaning. Maybe there will be something else that comes through for you, or some of you may be stepping, again, remember I was talking about the cover energy earlier, like being on a cover. Like there could be, I feel like the energy is so fast right now, I'm speaking like entirely fast. There could be something coming through about being seen in some way. And it doesn't have to be so literal, for everyone. Like it could be just something for you that is putting you in a position of, maybe you are joining some sort of community where you meditate and then share what you receive afterwards, and it's like speaking in that way. Or maybe you are at a meeting at work, and normally you don't say anything, and this time you like raise your hand because you have something to say. So it doesn't have to be such a dramatic thing, but it does feel like there's some sort of energy behind that coming forth. I mean, I can't not bring up Fruit Loops, the cereal. I always think of, the toucan, the Fruit Loops, the cereal. In the Patreon overflow, I will be going deeper into like Stargate key codes from more of like a Keylontic science perspective and higher ascension mechanics, and see what wants to come through there. Maybe any personal stories that I've had around it. I'm not exactly sure, but that's sort of what I'm feeling. And as I'm recording this, it's getting darker and darker. Like the sun was out like at some point today, and it's almost 4 o'clock where I am, and like it's so great right now. So yeah, things can maybe feel, like I said, darkest before the dawn. Like maybe there's something, and it doesn't even have to be like sad, although for some of you I'm seeing like 5 of Cups in tarot. There could be something like processing through you, like a feeling of loss, just something like this. I heard the word despair. And I'm clearing a lot through the throat all of a sudden. Lately I've been really focusing on reincorporating more conscious breathing and breath work. Not even like super long at a time, but just bringing myself back to that. And I secretly love to sing and like dance, you know, that's something I've always loved since I was a kid. And I just honestly didn't have the space and time for a little while to dive into some of these things. And lately I've been having a little bit more of that time. So I've been trying to take advantage of that time. So maybe some of you, it doesn't have to be breathwork, singing and dancing, but something equivalent that makes you just feel present and clear and excited. It's something about like bringing your focus into that. And even if you only have, you know, a few minutes, there's something about like spending your time wisely. Maybe some of you are already doing this and it's just confirmation, but for some of you who may feel like maybe, because here's the rain. There's like some sort of release coming. And I was talking about purification energy earlier. So yeah. Also the color white, mirroring white lotus, white feather. There's something about that as well. And I have to tell you, the song from Kesha is still playing in my head over and over. If anyone is curious about specific breath practices, please comment and I can like do a video just on that. And I do have, I think it's called like Intro to Breathwork somewhere on my YouTube channel, like a guided astral journey and meditation with Intro to Breathwork. So there's also that as well, if anyone wants a resource. Okay, unlimited potential, timeline shifts. Again, the void, darkness. These themes are so heavy in the energy right now. There's also been a lot of like 1 year from now coming in. So you may be in some of these liminal spaces or dark spaces. Even if it's not conscious, you may feel like you're connecting with a version of you from a year from now. Or you may be called to like tune in and feel like what a version of you from a year from now, if there's any advice. Let me just like see if I can get a collective message for everyone. For some reason I'm hearing in my head, I wish I might. What is that? I wish I might find something I seek tonight. Isn't that from like a fairy tale? If anyone remembers what that is, I can't remember in the moment. Okay, starlight, star bright. Yeah, it's a formula from a fairy tale. I wish I might have the wish I wish tonight. And I was talking about a wish earlier, and I promise I did not plan this, like it just came in. I couldn't even remember what it was from. It says you use it to, I Googled, to express a realization that you wish for almost certainly won't happen. I wish I may meant I wish I were allowed. I wish I might meant I wish I could. Oh, that is a tongue twister. Yeah, so some of you may be processing through some limiting beliefs, you know, about things that you felt like maybe you desire, but that you actually are not certain that you can access. Okay. I knew there was something else coming in. I almost ended it a few minutes ago, this transmission, but something told me to keep going. So I had a dream the other night that glass broke. I broke a glass in the dream. Sure enough, today I actually wound up breaking a glass in, like, really just shattered. And I broke a plate. And I was like, what's going on? Then I was guided to listen to something, a different energy reader on YouTube, and she was talking about glass breaking and breaking the glass ceiling. Now, I remember a few years back, maybe like 2020, I pulled through this meditation that I really wanted to record, but at the time, I just felt that in my heart space, like particularly on the right side of the heart, where like the armpit loops down to behind like the breastplate. It was like an arc of pain. So some of you may be processing out something in the heart space, particularly the right side, the masculine side, especially when it comes to like taking action on your desires. And yeah, so this is like in 2020, and I remember I like sat down, I think I was in the bath actually, and this whole meditation came through about shattering the glass ceiling. And at the time I like really just, did not trust myself or what was coming through, and I was really hesitant to share things. But I practiced this myself. Like I would tap back into this meditation and bring through and imagine myself like shattering these glass ceiling, limiting perspectives of myself. And earlier I was saying something about infinite potential. So after the synchronistic glass breaking event, I also, maybe 2 years ago, I went through this crazy phase. I was staying with my friend in Philly, and literally, like, I broke all of her glasses. I mean, maybe not literally, I'm being a little dramatic, but like, in the craziest ways. Like, I would literally just, I keep saying the word literally, I'm sorry, I like can't stop. But I would touch a glass, and it would just like break in, like almost as if I was like energetically sawing it in half, and it would just go in half, or I would drop it. It was just like one thing after another. I broke so many glasses. So when I could, at the time I didn't have finances, it's a long story. And so when I finally got a little bit of money, I ordered her a few new glasses because I felt so bad. But the point of this story is then it happened again. I left, I came back and stayed with her again. And then 2 or 3 more glasses broke in a short time. And we were both just laughing so hard. Then it started happening with her. Then she broke a couple glasses. Anyway, back to this analogy. Some of you could be literally breaking things. You could be having dreams about it, or it may be coming in the near future. Also crystals. Maybe like your crystals are like breaking in half, or you're dropping something. There's something about things breaking. And it's this cyclical check-in of different points of like shattering this glass ceiling. And I was reminded of this glass ceiling meditation that I never released, because again, this was like 5 or 6 years ago, or 4 or 5 years ago. And I still remember the frequency of it. And now that it's showing up so much this week, I can feel that there is this collective energy whenever you find this of some sort of shattering that glass ceiling for yourself in some way. Whether, again, you're about to do it, you just did it, there's probably invisible layers. I'm being shown, like, when you see in movies or like alarm systems that are really elaborate at like museums, and there's like angles of light everywhere. It's like you may break like a layer of glass, and then there's maybe another layer that you can't see yet, because right, if you look at glass not with a lot of intention, it's easy to miss because it's clear. So there could be these like layers of glass breaking, metaphorically, and for some of you literally as well. My voice may have gotten higher because of all the rain around me, so I'm trying to speak up so that the audio picks it up better, my voice. Speaking of fairy tales, I feel like I'm in one right now with the rain and the gray, but everything is still so green, it's just, it really feels that way. And I just heard in my head, cheers. Cheers to the year. So yeah, so reflection could be coming up right now. I think I'm actually going to leave it here and pick back up in the Overflow Patreon. And yeah, thank you. And if anything came up for you, of course, always please feel free to like share, reach out if you have anything to say. Honestly, sometimes when I don't record for a little while, I sometimes feel like, how do I say this more eloquently? Like backed up. Like I feel like there's so much to say. But I also don't want to just like word vomit the energy. I want to like make sure things come through clearly and in their own output expression that serves like the frequency that's transmitting for this specific recording. But there is, just know that there's so much more that is behind this, and I will do my best to like unravel it organically and not overwhelm the energy. Okay, thank you. Actually, the rain is so peaceful. I'm going to leave a little bit of silence with the rain in the background. And if you want to, it's an invitation to do some breathing or just dazing out and listening to the rain. I'll just leave it for a short time and then I will just end the recording if any of you want to stick around for that. Okay, thank you. And I was sitting in silence with you and transmitting crystalline liquid light. I was getting an ultraviolet bioluminescence frequency, as well as like the Sophianic, more pearlescent streams. I just heard ultra golden as well. Also the aqua ray, aqualine sun codes, even though it's raining. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.